Hi.
Hello.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to A Couple of Sassholes podcast. I'm Brooklyn Johnson.
And I'm Heather Terry.
And this is our power hour of true crime where we talk about fucked up people doing fucked up shit, usually for fucked up reasons or sometimes for no reasons at all.
That's right.
Because people will be fucked up.
Do you cuss?
Sometimes. When the mood strikes.
I like it. Adds emphasis.
I'm having interesting vibes in here today. We don't have the condom on one of the lights.
Oh my God, the lights are raw dogging. So I kind of feel like you're going to be like, where were you on August 8th?
That's how I feel too. I feel like
officer, I wasn't drinking. And I feel like I'm 20, not 20.
Right?
I feel like I'm 16, 21, 16 and at a field party. Being like, I didn't drink. Please don't call my dad.
Oh, you got caught?
I usually got out of it. Varsity Blues.
No, it feels weird in here, and the weather has been fucking psycho. So now it's just stormy and dark outside.
It was 72 yesterday. Today, Will's like, it's gonna snow, but it won't stick. I'm like, stop texting me. What are you talking about?
When?
No.
Oh, I was like, is it? But
I thought so too. But it's cold. It's a little cold.
The weather's been crazy.
Yeah,
crazy.
I know. You know what else is crazy?
What?
That's really it's kind of bothering me, and I'm going to look at Jess when I say this because I don't know if she's heard this too or not. But
Jess is like, I've already heard.
Anthony.
How have you heard already?
Casey Anthony is on TikTok. Casey Anthony, who was found not guilty, but killed her fucking kid. Let's just be real. I think she killed her kid. I even watched the documentary, the new one, where she was on there being an asshole, and she kind of tricks you for a second, making her think it's her dad. But I think,
at the end of it, I
still think it's her. So she's on TikTok, and there's a whole younger demographic that wasn't even born yet, or may not know about it because we're all older. And she's saying she's a legal advocate, which on paper is true, but she's tricking people into, she's got followers and stuff. I won't watch her content. One person's going to make a difference, but I don't watch it out of principle. Like Ross says, it's the principle. Like Ross on Friends.
Yes.
But it makes me mad that she's getting all these followers and people are liking her stuff. And some people might not even know she killed her kid.
Yeah, she killed her little girl.
I'm mad that she's on TikTok and has people following her. Get off there. I feel like they should kick her off.
I don't know my stance on this.
I mean, do you think that she should be on there saying I was just curious your thoughts on it.
I don't know. Is she getting all of her followers purely because of that one statement? Or
she's very...
if you won't get on there and look, then you can't correlate who the followers are, why they're following her, the objective of her mission. I think she fucking sucks, but if you don't have freedom to get on fucking social media...
Devil's advocate.
Coming to?
I get it. It just makes me mad.
It's one thing. I mean, we let O.J. Simpson write a book about how he fucking murdered somebody that he didn't murder.
That's true. That also makes me mad.
We did that.
Ugh.
Don't want to fuck up shit.
It makes me mad. I don't know. I feel like she shouldn't. I mean, I get it. She's allowed. But
we want people who have committed murders to have justice for the crime, and we want the rest of their lives to be miserable. We don't want them to have the same luxuries that we have or any of the joy that we have. And we sure as fuck don't want to look on a fucking app and see that they have a ton of followers.
I know.
Fuck you.
I know. Yes.
So sit on your thumb and fuck you. I get it.
I know. Yeah. Thank you. That. Yes. I'm I
want them to be miserable.
I've seen the news stories and stuff where they'll show clips of it, and I'm like, well, I'll watch that because they watched it to give it. It's so stupid, but that's just me. Just take it. Fuck Casey.
Your
Anthony.
stance is your stance.
Fuck Casey Anthony.
Agree.
And her TikTok account.
Fucker. I'm not talk today. Okay, well, you know what? Here's something I'm trying to talk Heather into.
What are you trying to talk me into?
A slow makeout.
Well, if it ain't fast, I ain't doing it. No.
No, I want to do possibly a 3 or 4 part series on the Idaho 4.
Oh.
I have texted Heather. I was like, I want to do this because so many people have reached out to me personally that we need to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And we have steered away from it for a plethora of reasons. Number one, because this one was so publicized. There is so much content to sift through. Mm-hmm. It's in order for us to just do it, because you have to imagine we do these stories and best case scenario, your 4 or 5 articles are going to pop up in total. And then you have to dig even further. If it was a publicized crime and it was on a lot of news stations, and then you can dig into some of the court 3-minute freaking comments from News One and all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
But this one has so much. So it's the amount of effort that it's going to take to do. And I'm like, I don't know. I feel like I'm like, life is really challenging right now. We should fucking make it harder.
That's why I was like, cool, I'm down later. But now, I guess we're doing it. You heard it here first.
Heather's like,
after she turns this camera on and be like,
yeah, but I didn't say when. That's a good part.
Yeah, that is a good. Sometime in the future, I agree to do that. Yes,
we can do as much as the court proceedings haven't fully taken place, right?
Information is still coming out. I don't know a lot about it.
I mean, they have the guy and he's in prison, but I don't know how much of the court has gone. Anyway, we'll find out. But that's something that I think we should focus on heavily. And then if you have any ideas, because at the end of the day, if you have a story you want us to talk about, or if you're like, hey, this one's going to be a big one, it needs to be a series, let us know.
Right.
Let's make sure that we're giving you what you want.
Right. Speaking of that, last thing, and I'll shut up. So if you guys don't have Spotify, our episodes are now on YouTube. So go watch us there, a couple of Sassholes podcasts. If you search for that, we'll come up. Under the podcast section, our videos are on there now. So yay for that.
Yay. I was just watching you because you were talking to the camera.
I know, I gotta
do your thing, man.
I gotta talk to the people.
You talk to that camera.
I gotta.
So then I felt weird and didn't know what to do, so I just watched you.
I was like,
stopped talking. Yes. Do what she says.
There you go.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you a story today.
That's good. I don't have one.
It's a sad one. It's a sad one. This one sucks. I also printed it in blue ink because I was about to run out of black. And so it's kind of in a light purple. I'd call this lavender. Lavender hue today.
I love your sky blue indigo ink.
Thanks. Okay, so I have corrections1.com, NPR, storycorpsos.org, specifically Remorse, the 14 Stories of Eric Morse, Wikipedia, and then Chicago Magazine. Have you ever heard of the murder of Eric Morse?
Mm-mm.
Have you, Jess? Jess hasn't either. Let's begin then. Time for me to tell you some shit. Okay, I didn't know about this story, and I feel like I heard about it later on in life, but it was like a quick oh shit, I feel like I heard about this, only because of a whole bunch of other actions that took place afterwards. Mm-hmm. But this is crazy shit that happened in Chicago in the early 90s.
Okay.
Our story takes place in Chicago, Illinois in 1994. At the time, Chicago was popping off with the violence. Most of this was due to gang activity and the cocaine epidemic and your consistent socioeconomic struggles in certain neighborhoods. In 1994 alone, there were 930 recorded homicides.
Shoo.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Now, that is slightly lower than their peak violence time, but it was like like the 90s were fucking terrible. And 94 was one of the worst years.
That's like 2 to 3 a day.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not mathing that. It's close to 3, but not quite 3. So it's 2 to 3.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
That's how I would have said it. Yeah. And then the other part I would have left in my head and I wouldn't have said it.
It's nice to be humble. Somebody out there might be like, you know what? I can't do head math either.
Head math is hard. Okay, so there were a lot of housing struggles then too. You have that bad gang violence, deteriorating buildings, there's crime everywhere. Basically, it's that type of environment that produced more bad shit. Like, you were not going to be born in this area and somehow thrive in your life organically based off of good moments that came to you. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
You're living in hell and you're just trying to survive it. You really could only just hope for the best. These are the areas in movies that you're just like, fuck. Like, how terrible. I think, like, I have not spent a lot of time recently thinking about, like, gangs and ghettos. Like, to just be honest, at some point, it becomes relevant in what we're talking about. It's been a long time since, like, the socioeconomic makeup of an area like really did stem everything else that happened. Mm-hmm. A lot of the high rises were part of the public housing project. We're going to talk about the Ida B. Wells Homes building today, which was located in the heart of the Bronzeville neighborhood on the south side of Chicago. Public housing is government-funded housing that provides affordable rental homes for low-income individuals and families. It's typically managed by local housing authorities like the Chicago Housing Authority, CHA, in Chicago, and funded by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, which is HUD. There's also requirements for all of these, so you have to hit a specific income base. It's managed by a local housing agency, and people have to meet certain criteria to live there. So my husband is a property manager for low-income housing. So if I had $1 for every time HUD was yelled or spoken to about briskly in our home, I'd have lots of doughs. These apartments are fucking terrible. Feeling like a broken record on this part, but once more, there's drug abuse, gangs, shootings, all that shit. The housing authority didn't do anything about it. By the 1980s, a gang had basically chosen this high-rise building in the ghetto as their home.
Oh, man.
Like, that is how bad the building was. That a gang was like, this is this whole area. Like, we've got this. It was called the Black Pea Stones Gang. That is not a very intimidating name.
What'd you say?
Black Pea Stones.
No.
Right. Agreed.
I was like, it's weird if she said peace. Because
Right?
gangs don't typically are like, you guys, let's just break it up. Let's just hug it out, grab a beer. I feel like we can talk about the drug lines.
Right?
Like
I just feel
territories. Your turf is your turf. You guys can borrow it on Tuesdays.
Everything's a compromise.
Let's work together.
Right?
Every gang's motto.
They said that there were so many people in line to buy drugs, it looked like an ice cream stand on a hot summer day.
That makes me
in
sick.
July.
Ugh.
Yeah. Do you want to say that the building was first constructed in 1939 for African-American tenants and was named after the civil rights advocate and investigative journalist who lived nearby for decades? So, like, it had good
intentions
at one point. But fuck history. Let's talk about now.
Okay.
We have a 10-year-old boy named Jesse Rankins and Tykeese Johnson, who's just a year older. He's 11. They had grown up together in the projects. Both had learning disabilities, and both of their fathers were abusive and imprisoned by this particular age. Now, Tykeese's mother held a steady job, and she seemed to have her wits about her. Jesse's mother was a drug user who would leave him on the streets basically the moment that she could. Like, that kid had no good direction, no compass, nothing. A classmate of theirs, Eric Morse, had the same style of upbringing. He too was growing up in the Ida B. Wells building in the ghetto. Drugs and gang violence were everywhere. His mother was also strung out on drugs as well. Eric is 5 years old, and he also has an 8-year-old brother. His name is Derek Lemon. Gets me. And then I also have to like stop and be like, okay, Derek and Eric. Did we do this because the drugs were so good? Like, that felt to me very, I won't forget their name if I have Derek and Eric.
Oh my God, you just mumble one of them and they'll both think it's
Eric! How rare.
Just hit the ick part hard and one of them will think it's them.
Agreed. Now, Eric was, they ended up calling the welfare agency on him because when he was born, he was addicted to drugs. So, super just fucking shitty. Fucking shitty. So Derek, I was saying that Derek, he's 8 years old. He was a bit of a bad kid already. By the time he was 8, he had skipped school, ran with gangs already, and he picked fights.
Oh, God.
Once more, tough as hell upbringing, but considering that was the rap sheet for an 8-year-old.
I know.
It's unreal. So on October 13th, 1994, Jesse Rankins and Tykeese Johnson, they see Eric and his brother Derek outside of the Ida B. Wells homes. They asked the boys if they'd like to go see their clubhouse. Now, apparently a few days ago, they had tried to get little Eric to steal candy for them, and he was like, no, I will not do that. Not me. And this whole thing is because of that.
Because he said he didn't want to steal.
Because he was a 5-year-old who wouldn't steal candy. Which we need to understand that. It's about 6 or 7 p.m. that day, and Jesse and Tykeese take the brothers to apartment 1405 on the 14th floor of the high-rise building in the Ida B. Wells homes. The view outside of the window is basically liquor store after liquor store, dilapidated buildings, just fucking depression. Like nothing going on. In that building, there were apparently a ton of vacant apartments. And so like windows would be broken out, doors would be open, and basically it's what you'd imagine it would be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if these little kids are 10 years old and they want to go play in a dilapidated building on the 14th floor, essentially they could.
Right.
These kids are fucking ruthless. They take the 5-year-old boy and they dangle him out of the window.
The fuck? From the 14th floor?
From the 14th floor. Derek grabs his brother's arm and he pulls him back in. The two fucking heathens take Eric to a second window, and Derek is trying so hard to get him back in, and he's holding on to his brother, and one of the kids bites him so hard and he ends up letting go of his brother.
How old are the older boys again?
10 and 11 years old.
Jesus.
And he's
So
5
all these kids are 5, 8, 10, and 11.
Yes.
That's awful.
I also read in another article that they said that they had like beat or stabbed at Derek as he was trying to fight to get his brother back in through the window. I don't like the ages once more 5, 8, 10, and 11.
Right.
Like you held a kid out of a window on the 14th floor. Even with Eric fighting them and trying to pull him back in, he ended up falling. Derek ran down the stairs, all 14 floors, thinking that he could catch his brother after he had fallen.
I mean, he's a kid.
And he meant it with dead assness. He talks about it in court, and he says it with pure conviction that he thought he had the ability to get down there fast enough to catch his brother.
That shows how young he is.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
that's kid mentality. Like,
Yes.
I can do it. Like, invincible. I hate that.
Eric Morse suffered massive head injuries and was pronounced dead upon the arrival at the hospital. This blew up the news, as you can fucking imagine.
Right.
President Bill Clinton at the time was talking about it, and it was basically the catalyst for them to fix some of the issues in the Chicago Housing Authority. 2 children grew up in those housing projects, actually did a radio podcast and interviewed those closest to the tragedy. So it's Leallen Jones and Lloyd Newman. They were 16 years old. And they took their recorder and they got people to talk.
They did.
It is, you guys, if you have 40, it's like 30 minutes and some change. Just fucking listen to it.
What's it called again?
I'm about to.
Okay. I thought you already said it.
It's
and I was
called
like,
Remorse, the 14 Stories of Eric Morse.
Okay.
It won the grand prize Robert F. Kennedy Journalism Award and a
Wow.
Peabody Award in 1995. And it should have.
And they're 16 when they did it?
They're 16. So
Wow.
not only that, when they were 14, I'm gonna get back to this and I'm gonna skipping back over, but when those kids were actually 14, they ended up working with some producer and they did a documentary called Ghetto Life 101 in 93. And it was for NPR, National Public Radio, and it was an audio diary of young people growing up in Chicago South Side.
Wow.
So they had already done that because they're badass motherfuckers.
Right.
Then they come back, and then they lived in the building. They just happened to live in the building that happened. So they grabbed their recorder. They're so fucking badass. And they're so young, but they're so smart.
Right.
They're like beyond their years. You can definitely tell, like, there's 2 kids. I don't know which one's voice was which, so my apologies there. But one of them was definitely the leader. He had a very holistic view of things, way too wise to be a 16-year-old. And then the other one you can just tell is like witty and quick. But he goes through and he actually has, at one point, he has the president of the Chicago Housing Authority with him. And he goes and he interviews kids and adults in that building. And they're like, what would you want to say to the housing authority? Not realizing
That he's
he was
standing there?
Yeah. And they're like, that this place is terrible. Like, this place is the worst. So this guy says that he's like, it's not even the mice that are so bad. He's like, it's the rats. There's so many rats in my apartment. And it's like, they don't even care that they're there. Like, they don't care that you're there. They're like, everything is dilapidated. Like, this isn't a place for anyone to live.
Right.
And then they get to somebody else. And that was like outside of the building. And then they go inside the building and they're talking to people. They get this little 12-year-old boy who has a baby on his hip. And he's talking to him. And he's like, he said that he was friends with Tykees and Jesse, and that they were really bad. And he was like, but you wanted to hang out with them. Like, they were stealing and doing all this bad shit. And he goes, you wanted to hang out with them because there's nothing else to do. Like, there's nothing to do. So they just end up being really bad. I don't know. Anyway, if you have 40 minutes, just listen to it.
Yeah, it sounds very
It
interesting.
is.
Especially because they're 16 and thought to do that. Like, kind of like Undercover Boss, but not like...
And they actually got people to talk.
Right.
People listen.
Because they might not have if they knew who he was.
And so they have the Chicago Housing Authority guys there. And this is on the Remorse podcast, I'll call it right now. And he asks him to like explain what he sees whenever he looks out the window of that building. That was so hard. The window of that building. And he goes, I just see a ton of young people. They have nothing to do, no good things to focus on. He had mentioned how you can look out this window and see tons of people come back 3 hours later and they are still going to be there doing the same thing. He's like, they have no good thing to focus on, no positive hobbies or interests. And that is a sign of a healthy community is having things to do.
Yeah. That's why there's so many like children's organizations and stuff, and they started popping up. I think I've read a couple things not about this case, just about like that in general and like the socioeconomic divide in communities.
Yeah.
And that's what they try to do is go in because it starts with the young kids. They only do what they know. Right. Like, so if they see some, and younger kids naturally want to impress older kids. Right. Except for you, because I'm older than you and you don't try.
That's very true. I cared when I was younger. Then once I hit 24, I'm like, fuck all y'all. We're on the same even playing field now. I got nothing. Okay, they asked people how they felt about living there in that building. And this 12-year-old said that he wants to live anywhere but here. And the moderator said, like, why? Like, why do you know you don't want to live here? And he goes, there's just shootings all the time.
How scary.
There's just too many people getting shot all the time. They talk about what they see looking out their window and they're like, I see people getting jumped. I see people getting shot. Like, these are little kids.
That's so scary.
On a regular.
Sad.
It was sad as fuck.
So then they probably joined some people too out of protection at some point. Like he's kind of a badass. Maybe I should follow them around.
Agreed. I told you about that little kid and that he had said, and that goes back to the whole thing that he hung out with the bad kids just because there was nothing to do. Like once more. Mm-hmm. Now, as you can imagine, this killing pissed everyone off, and Illinois was ready to pop the fuck off.
I bet.
They enacted a law that lowered the age at which offenders could be sentenced to prison from 10 to 13. So originally, these kids wouldn't have gone to prison or anything. They were too young, so they changed it from 13 to 10.
Oh, yeah. I was like, wait, what? I think
I said it backwards.
That's okay. I followed along. That's where connected.
Jesse Rankins and Tykeese Johnson became symbols of what they were now calling a new class of criminals. These are super predators. They're dangerous, heartless youths who acted impulsively and then lacked any remorse.
That's even scarier.
Dun, dun, dun. That's very scary.
Yeah.
These two little kids became the state's youngest inmates. 10 and 11-year-olds sent to prison.
Like prison?
Sent to prison. So even though Jesse Rankins and Tykeese Johnson were convicted of first-degree murder and they were sentenced to the maximum term, they got 5 years.
What? 5?
5.
5.
That is the most a kid of their age could have gotten a sentence for. 5 years.
Oh, my God.
So, yeah, they got out of jail at 15.
Stop. I'm about to Jerry Springer. Like, I wore the shirt knowing I was going to get mad today.
Yeah. I do have to say that too, though. Imagine that those kids were like just put in jail and they were all alone and they knew nothing but like the way of the prison system. 10 and 11, and now you're away from like, even if your dads were in jail and your mom were drug addicts, like you're still like fully fucking alone. So Jesse's mom came to visit him at the Cook County Juvenile Temporary Detention Center while he was awaiting trial, and she straight up said, "You will never see me again." That was a drug addict.
Well, she's been trying to dump him the whole time anyway, right?
Yeah, she's
sounded
trash
like
anyway.
it. She's like, "Ooh, my ticket out." Like she doesn't have to be a mom anymore.
She wasn't a mom anyway.
Yeah, she doesn't. Yeah.
Tykeese's mom was with him throughout his court issues, but I couldn't imagine how alone you'd feel and helpless no matter what, because no one is going to really help two young ass killers.
Right.
Like what they did is still unbelievably insane that they purposefully murdered a 5-year-old. There's nothing that I saw that implied that it like one person was like it had to have been an accident, and no one else said it was. Like no one. And like, even though Derek blamed himself fully.
Of course he did.
Because he was just trying to grab him and those fucking asshole kids. Anyway. These guys do end up going in and out of jail, though. So Jesse Rankin served an additional 9 years for sexually assaulting another inmate during a gang attack. So there's that. I've read in a lot of things that it was just an attack, and then one of them said sexually assaulting, and I'm like,
So he was in there for 5 years. When he went in there, he was, what did you say? He was like 11?
10
or 11. So he was like 16 or 17 being a predator. And that's a very impressionable.
Or maybe 14.
Either way.
He got another 9 after the sentencing.
But that's like.
Well, gang initiation, ain't that getting in the butt? That's calling for some ass play. They be calling for that ass play.
Is it?
Yeah. There's
gang initiation?
There's time for ass play. And I believe gang initiation. Is that not one of them?
What kind of gangs are you reading about?
I don't know. I don't read about any.
The West Side Brown Stars? Like what?
I don't know. Do they?
I mean, I'm sure
they do
happen.
In jail for sure.
It's like the hold my pocket situation. So maybe he was trying to have somebody hold his pocket.
This was a gang initiate. It was during a gang attack that they did. Anyway,
maybe
I am
they
not
do.
going to unpack all of that, but I'm just going to say it.
I thanks for sprinkling that doo-doo on the garden.
You're welcome. Fertilizing your mind.
Wonderboy Media is not only the proud producer of this glorious magic imploring your ear holes right now, but they're also a big deal.
Get in touch with them today to make all of your dreams a freaking reality.
From using their bangin' ass podcast studio,
where we are right now,
to creating amazing videos and editing our content like the mystical mavericks they are.
Your podcast can go further when you have a Wonder Boy.
Hit up Drew today at WBOYmedia.com.
Or text him day or night at 270.
Just kidding.
Get ready, outdoor enthusiasts. The Western Kentucky Outdoor Expo is coming to Owensboro Convention Center on April 12th and 13th. Explore RVs, boats, hunting gear, side-by-sides, and more, all in one place. And best of all, it's free. Don't miss this ultimate outdoor adventure. Learn more at westernkyoutdoorexpo.com or follow us on Facebook. We'll see you there. Now he's 25 years old and he ends up getting out.
Okay.
Many say, of course, that they didn't get the therapy and the counseling that they needed, which I, too, believe is very fucking true. Mm-hmm. Their lawyers argued that the two needed to be placed in a treatment facility for troubled youths to have any shot at living normal lives. Agreed. They also didn't live normal lives before they went in.
Right. So then they just go in and learn the way of the jail, and they're around other
Well, they're saying
inmates.
that they need to be in a treatment facility instead. Right.
So they can get the mental health stuff that they need, because they didn't stand a chance being in the environment. It's like you put an ice cream cone on the sidewalk in Arizona in July, it's going to fucking melt. But if you put it in the fridge, what?
Yes.
Well, if you get, keep it cold.
Yes.
Mental health needs to be dealt with.
Yes. And also just the simple fact, like I don't particularly think they had mental health issues. I think they were a product of their environment.
Yeah. Like,
like they just need to see what any healthy anything is, because it didn't sound like they had it.
Yeah. They needed to definitely like address their environment for sure. Like, because it's hard to stand a chance. You know how many times we say in a story, like, they didn't really stand a chance. We're not feeling sorry for them. They still did a bad thing, but they were put in a shit situation.
Yeah. But this one, they just murdered.
Mm-hmm.
Like, completely agree with you. I'm like, and that's like they didn't stand a chance, but like, it would almost seem more reasonable if they then got into a gang and shot somebody for gang initiation.
Right.
That we'd be like, yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
But you threw a fucking 5-year-old out of a window.
That's nuts, though.
And that's once more where you, like what you said, mental health. I feel like that is a different fucking scenario. So back to like their lawyers were arguing that they needed the treatment facility. They ended up acting on the recommendation of state child welfare authorities, and they were both sentenced to prison with one caveat, that they would receive therapy and other services from corrections staffers. I don't believe that happened. Like, I don't. Nothing I read implies that that really took place.
Yeah, it sounds good on paper.
And I don't know how many prisons really have great therapy. I don't know. And I'm sure no prison was ready for 10-year-olds.
Right. And some of them do. Like, I've seen some. It's just like the good and the bad. Like, because, I watch those prison shows. And they show some of the issues, but a lot of them don't, because at the end of the day, prisons are profitable.
Yes.
So don't get me started on that. But it's all for profit. So a lot of times they're just like cattle in a herd, and do their time and get them out of there or keep them in there, and as long as they get paid. So
this fucking world,
it's
man.
fucked up.
That shit.
This part pisses me off. Like all the anyway.
So when I believe I'm talking about Jesse, when Jesse got out of jail, he wasn't even happy nor excited. He literally only said a few words to his wife and didn't even kiss or hug her.
Wife.
This was their 4th wedding anniversary, and he hadn't seen her in 2.5 years. Keep in mind, these guys consistently went back to jail.
Oh, okay.
So, like, at one point, we're talking to Tykees, and he's 26, and he's been in and out of jail. He's currently just happens to be out of jail. Like, they just go back and forth into jail. Now, Jesse had never had a driver's license. He's never been on the internet. Like, these kids haven't even been on the internet.
Yeah.
And they never had a job. Not to mention they didn't have an education. Like, what grade are you in the 10th and the 11th grade?
Or when you're 10 and 11? Like 7th? Is it 7th?
See?
We looked at
Like
the mom.
nothing,
We don't have
yeah.
kids. Justin's
I
mom.
have
So we were
no-
both like, just tell us.
That and when's fall break? Never know when the fuck that is.
When's fall break?
I never know when fucking fall break is or spring break is. Okay. Tykees was 26 at the time of this interview, and this was written in 2009. And he was living with his girlfriend and 5 children in a rundown Southside apartment, surviving on food stamps and public assistance. So don't worry, everyone. We're paying for these people.
Man.
To make it even better, they're the ones with the food stamps. I'm telling you all this because their lives still generally suck. Like, they were even talking about their houses, and the fucking journalists just like, I mean, I swear it would have felt like you bent me over a kitchen table. They're just like shabby walls and with missing windows and haphazard linens like over the paints a picture of some trash.
Paints a picture.
Paints a fucking picture. I don't know if this is kind of what I was saying before we ever started recording today. I was like, I don't know if you'd feel any differently about this if it was adults who had done these crimes and then got out of jail and you're like, wow, your life continued to suck. But like, these were kids who had shitty ass upbringings, then went into the prison system, got lucky as fuck that they got out as early as they did.
Mm-hmm.
But then they're like, I don't have, and they're very victim mentality. Both of them are like, they're the fucking title to the article was about their bleak existence. It's like, they're like, we don't have degrees. We don't know how to do anything outside in the real world. I've never had a job. How am I supposed to like, oh, I was 10 when I went in. I'm mentally 10. I'm mentally fucking 10 years old. And they sound like it.
Yeah.
They sound like 10-year-olds. And we talked to one of our acquaintances, like, I don't know if you're closer friends. I had to say acquaintances because I'm not best friend. Anyway, but she had gone to jail for multiple years. And she was like, they say whenever you're young and you go to jail, you lose your ability to grow mentally into the adult that you would have outside of the prison system.
Right.
So these kids went in at 10 and they never got older than 10.
The older that like they learned everything from the older inmates, and then a lot of people it's the high percentage, I don't know it off the top of my head, of people reoccurring and going right back into prison because that's all they know.
They're comfortable.
That's all they know. They didn't know, and like there are resources, and sometimes in rare cases they'll have like transition of back to being a civilian, like for people.
But they were
like
never a
that,
civilian. That's the thing is like these
they were
kids
so young,
never paid a bill.
right?
They never did these things.
Right. It's so crazy.
It is.
That's crazy.
It's crazy that they got 5 years, and it's fucking even more crazy that whenever they got out, it's that they were then supposed to just figure it out. I just don't understand.
It's interesting that you made that point because now I'm thinking about it. I'm like, if they were adults, I wouldn't blink.
Right. And you're just like,
and now
wow,
I'm
their
like,
shitty life gets to continue to be shitty.
Yeah. And now I'm like, but I hate that they did that.
course.
Eric, duh. But it's just like there could be a silver lining to this awful story at some point, but it doesn't sound like there's going to be.
No, there's no good. There's no good because that's the last thing that I could find on any of them was what was going on in 2009. So they've just fallen into the ghettos of Chicago, I'm sure, and nothing's changed. And
how's his
I don't know how
brother?
the fuck they got these women.
Listen,
Like,
there's
I
a lot.
know.
You know, I
There's
like
an
that.
ass for every chair.
No, I was gonna.
There's an ass for every chair.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say that I watched that show called Prison Wives, and there are women who seek out men, sometimes with life sentences, just to marry them.
Why?
I couldn't tell you. I asked
they
it
don't say
every
why?
episode. No, they're like, I got online, I fell in love, and I don't want any other man. One of them was like, basically, she's like, well, I don't like sex, so if we do get a conjugal, I'm happy about it. I was like, I don't, and he was 40 to life, and they'd been together for 2 years. She moved closer to be with him. She was giving him money for his stuff. He looked like he truly did love her, but I mean, fuck, he's stuck in a box 23. He was 23 and 1. So he was in the cell 23 hours, and he had 1 hour a day to shower, rec time, call her. And she was married to this man. No way.
I mean, I guess if you don't want your pee-pee touched. My number one. If you don't want to have your...
Yeah, but why even have it? She's putting out all this money.
He has all this communication. Who knows? $50 probably goes really far in a fucking...
That's like...
I don't know.
That's like 25 soups.
Oh, my God. I don't know. I
don't know either.
I don't... It depends on the crime, too.
It ain't for me, especially
You know?
when he was like, I did a triple homicide. And she's like, that's my man. And her mom's like, I don't like this idea. She's like, okay, well, I love him. And she's like, he killed people. One of them, he killed his wife. Oh. Yeah, anyway. It's a crazy show.
I do find it to be crazy that somebody would fucking do that.
Yeah, and then tell her friends. Like, she's at a bar and the guy in jail. She's like, it'd be like if you and I wouldn't have had drinks and Travis was in jail for life. He calls you collect on your cell phone. You have to step outside because that's the only time he would call. I'm sitting there like, do. He's yelling at you. Well, who are you with? Who do you talk to? I bet there's guys there. You need to get out of there. Why are you being a hoe? And I'm like, just tell him you're going home. He can't come get you.
Right? He ain't gonna know.
He can't come get you.
People be crazy.
And then he's trying to control her. I'm like, shut
Dude,
up.
you're in a box.
I'm like,
shut up.
Go wear your stripes and drop the soap.
You add no value. You add no value.
Let some guy try to fucking tell me from a box. All right, honey, I'm going right home.
Yes, I am on my way. On my way. Another interesting fact. So apparently Jesse has a reoccurring nightmare of him falling out of a high rise. And then he wakes up whenever he hits the ground. So I presume that's just karma doing its karma thing.
Good for that.
Also, he has a tattoo of a grave with Eric's name and incorrect birthday on there. I'm pretty sure, number one, I'm pretty sure there's a chance he spelled the last name wrong. And he did Moarse instead of Morse. And he did the wrong birthday.
So the
good
intentions were there, but
the brain power was not.
No. Well, I mean, I'm sure they didn't get that far in 6th grade.
After their initial releases, both men returned to prison repeatedly for other offenses, drugs and theft being the fan favorites. Jesse in 2006 broke into a shelter and he stole a pit bull. Now, whatever happened to Derek Lemon?
That's what I was going to ask you, but I was
The
waiting.
boy who tried to save his brother.
Ooh,
He ended up receiving a lawsuit settlement in Eric's death for more than $1 million from the Chicago Housing Authority and a private management company. Sadly, this is not a good ending to the story either. Derek had all of that money, but he still wanted to hang out on the streets and essentially do bad shit. In the wake of Eric's death, Derek was placed at the Hephzibah Children's Association facility in Oak Park for children with domestic or emotional difficulties. His fuckwad mother, Toni Morse, visited him there only one time, speaking very little and acting like she was angry. And she left after 20 minutes. So in 97, he got some form of help, but none of it helped him. By the time he was 14, he had all but dropped out of school. He ditched his latest foster home, and he had a little run-in with the cops, too. Derek's attorneys would try to show the jurors that his problems stemmed from the incident that took place. And they're like, bro, we know that something bad happened to you. But, like, you were also bad before this. Like, stop fucking playing. Like, stop doing this shit. As a high school dropout, he basically just slept until noon and watched ESPN before he'd go out at night because he had $1 million too. Overall, it seemed like it was a pretty fucking chill experience, but then he was convicted of burglary whenever he was 18 years old, and he ended up getting probation. It's going to escalate so aggressively. At the age of 24, Derek Lemon is serving 71 years for a murder sentence for fatally shooting his aunt's boyfriend at a barbecue in 2006. Derek was choking his own aunt at a family gathering when Ilya Glover, a neighbor, tried to stop him, and then Derek shot and killed him.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Okay.
So at 24 years old, he went to jail for 71 years for killing someone because he decided to try to kill his aunt in a public setting by choking her.
Fuck.
Even after losing his brother, he ends up being just as violent, and he takes the life of someone else. Like, mind-blowing in that. It's sad because, again, he blames his brother's death for his consistently poor behavior.
Yeah.
Because once more, he brings that shit into it and has it, like, act like that's what... Like, he does not take his own actions into his hands, like, at all.
Right.
Like, there's no accountability to him in any way.
Right. I'm sure that, I mean, he carried a ton of trauma and unpacked feelings that are kept up there. But a lot of people do that and have traumatic childhoods, and they don't grow up to continue bad behavior. Some people would be like, I need to get my life together. Look what happened. Or I'm given this opportunity. So that's kind of sad.
Whoever, like... Imagining that, though, like, his mom was a drug addict. His dad was already in jail. He already felt the requirements to take care of his little brother. He ends up going into this space. His brother gets killed right in front of him. He already didn't know how to, like, handle things, so he was always acting out, liked being a bad kid. Mm-hmm. And then true trauma happens. And then his mom's too fucking strung out on drugs, doesn't really fucking give a shit. I mean, he had his money for probably 6 years. He was probably 18 by the time he was able to, like, get his money. So it was only 6 years before he then committed fucking murder.
Right.
Because he was so used to the streets environment and, like, being in this crazy fucking space where you just start choking someone in front of everyone else.
Yeah.
It's just, it's so hard to comprehend the upbringing and the issues in the Chicago housing authority during the 90s, let alone at any fucking time. Mm-hmm. But we forget it because we don't see it. Mm-hmm. And then you're reminded of it, and it's just like, holy fuck.
Yeah, it's bad now. It was worse then, and it's sad that it took like a tragedy like that to get that brought to
I don't think, but
media.
Really what happened at the end of the day, the building ended up being torn down. They left like one little, maybe like a duplex kind of part to it. The area did end up getting torn down, and I'm sure they gentrified but that was always like that is the step to realizing we can't, like, you have a housing project and you have a ghetto, you have to clean up the ghetto, and then the people around it will clean up with it. Mm-hmm. I can't remember, and I've read this in so many fucking things. I hate that I can't remember what the theory is. But if let's say we were in downtown Owensboro and everything was treated like shit, the windows were broken, all this, we'd be 10 times more likely to break a window or vandalize the area because it's already in disarray. But if you tidy it up, then organically people will stop doing bad shit. That's like tidying up the subways and all these other things around it. But it was just sad as shit. Yeah. And I just can't even believe that these kids did it with, like, no real venom, like no real reason behind it.
Right.
I didn't hear anything about them speaking about, like, looking like they were sad. I couldn't even find photos of them.
I was going to ask you for a photo and ask you if they ever apologized.
Not that I saw. I have photos, not of them as kids. I don't have any photos of them as kids. Derek also tested, supposedly they all tested exceptionally low in their IQs too. I do have to say that too. Like, all of their testing, Derek, Tykeese, and Jesse, they all had low IQs. I feel like I just need to mention that because I also feel like that edited their problem solving abilities as well.
Right.
But yeah, I just didn't understand the motive because they wouldn't steal candy. Like, Did they think it was just a game? No, because then Derek wouldn't have acted out so strongly to try to get the kid in. Like, they knew they were risking this kid's life.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a horrible death.
Yeah.
A horrible death.
14
falling that
floors.
way. And he didn't die on impact. He died within 10 minutes of falling. I mean, obviously, I'm sure there was no connection to him being there any longer. But it's just that Andy was really cute. But by far, that's the only, like, young photo I have. And he's so cute. But anyway, that is the super sad story of the murder of Eric Morse and the unfortunate outcome of his brother, Derek Lemon, as well.
Damn. Bummed out. That's sad.
That was sad. Knowing, too, that, like, the bare minimum, if that housing authority had simply just boarded up the apartments that had broken windows. Like, if we just stopped real quick and really realized if they couldn't have gotten into that space, this would never have happened.
Mm-hmm.
Because they did it out of just pure fucking opportunity.
Yeah.
And just did it.
That blows my mind.
Yeah. I agree.
Mm.
You're welcome.
It's like, I
I've
need
got nothing else.
I need a shot and a hug or something. Like,
Right? I'm going to go buy a pack of Marlboro Lights and let them rip.
let them rip.
God, that would taste so good. And quitting smoking, I'm still thinking about smoky little treats sometimes.
When you say
Addiction kills.
When you say let them rip, it makes me think of a fart. Just so you
Good.
know. Good.
Glad it does. I'm going to go antiquing this weekend.
Me too.
Yeah, you're going with me?
I am.
Forcing you, kind of.
No, I'm going.
Do you like it?
I'm nosy. I like to look at stuff.
Nosy is not looking at stuff.
I wanna
use the
see
word
everything.
Nosy incorrectly.
I am curious.
You're like, I'm going to go shopping. I'm nosy. The fuck? You're
like to
curious
nose
to go into a place.
I like to nose around. See what they got in there.
Nosy is you trying to hear me and Jess's conversation. That is
Which I
nosy.
also try to do.
I understand that, but that is not being. Anyway, antiquing is gonna be fun. I'm gonna latch onto Sarah and be like, let's look for shit. I'm super pumped.
I'm gonna nose around. Sarah, who is now viral online because she collects used contacts.
Our contact friend.
Like somebody literally asked me, the girl with the contact lenses. I was Jess. Jess, like, is that someone else messaged me and said, "What the fuck?" I was like,
It's
just
so
in
weird.
our defense, I was given permission.
I
And
hate
she-
that my face. You could see me just be like.
She said,
If Sarah wasn't my friend, I think the hardest part of comprehending what you were saying was the fact that like Sarah's
She's our friend.
She is a true friend, and I'm like, if that would have been a stranger, I'd be like, that's some weird shit. But me processing it, that it was like,
y'all
our
gotta go watch
Sarah
that
was
TikTok.
hard.
Go watch
Yeah.
that TikTok because it is very. Sarah was like, Brooklyn's face made it worth it because you were like,
What?
yeah.
What is
But
that?
anyway, my contact lens friend.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
Yeah.
I'll have to make sure to show you,
And we're gonna
do some little fucking. I'm gonna post what the fuck I find. I hope I find some good glassware.
find some treasures.
Yes,
Yeah.
and then I'm gonna have some good food at Lore Seafood and Grill after.
Yeah, I'm gonna have some good unlimited champagne and then go to Dealing Pianos.
It's my uncle's birthday too. My uncle Gordon.
Oh,
Uncle G, happy birthday. So I'm gonna end up being in Evansville now.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it.
Well, guys, we love you.
We sure do.
You make us happy. Don't forget to like, rate, review, follow us, subscribe, find us on all the things. Because guess what? We're on all the things. And it's
Oh
a
my
lot
gosh.
of work to be on all the things. So come fucking find us and play with us so it feels like it was worth it.
Yeah.
That'd be helpful.
That would be delightful.
Don't forget to sign up for our Patreon
Please.
if you want a little cameo.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
If you want us to do something weird
I
and
want to
kinky,
talk.
just drop it into the
Kiki,
DMs.
they're gonna cost me a little bit more.
That's what I'm saying. Just drop it into the DMs.
Yeah, DM and be like, "How much for this sheet cake?" I'll sit on a sheet cake. Will, I've gotten permission. As long as my face and none of my naughty bits are in the shot, I have gotten full permission from Will to sit on desserts and sell it.
And we're gonna leave it right there.
No,
everyone.
listen.
Don't forget. Don't get mad.
Get sassy.
We love you guys.
We love you. Bye.
Bye.
I'm not joking.
This episode was sponsored, edited, and produced by Wonderboy Media. Get the deets at WBOYmedia.com to see how you can make your podcast dreams a reality.
Help us out and be sure to rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen to our audio project. Don't forget, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at, of course, a couple of Sassholes.
Want more sass? Become a member of our Patreon for bonus content, merch, and more. Plus, we're on Cameo now, so there's even more ways to get the sass you need just how you like it. As always, don't get mad.
Get sassy.
Theodore, can I pet that dog?